On a eu l'heureuse surprise il y a plus de 24 heures, disons il y a 24 heures, d'avoir une réponse de Damian Tatic, qui est membre du comité des droits qui suit la Convention de l'ONU sur la protection des droits des personnes handicapées. Donc il nous fait l'honneur d'être présent à distance depuis Belgrade, je crois. Hello, Damian Tatic. We are...
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you well. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Perfect. Excellent.
So we can hear you, and thanks very much again to be here with us.
Well, it's really a pleasure. I would like to thank you for providing me this flexible opportunity to be with you here today. And I'm very much feel privileged to be part of this important meeting, which is addressing one of the really significant issues, probably the most revolutionary segment of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, Article 12, legal capacity, the one that shows the change of paradigm from medical model of disability to human rights approach to disability most. So, as I have been asked by Mr. Eiro, I will just briefly say a few words about myself and the committee before I talk to you more about the implications of Article 12 of the Convention. My name is Damian Tatic. I'm calling to you from Belgrade, Serbia. I'm a lawyer by profession. I have a doctorate, PhD in international public law and political sciences, and I have been involved with the rights of persons with disabilities for a number of years. I am now serving my second term on the Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. I am one of the 18 experts of the committee. The committee is one of the dozen United Nations human rights treaty bodies with the task of monitoring how a particular human rights treaty is being implemented. In this case, it is Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And those 18 experts are elected by the state parties to the convention, or those who have ratified it. Of course, the first priority and first criteria is the knowledge about the human rights of persons with disabilities and the moral integrity of candidates, but then also state parties take into account the equal regional geographic distribution. So we have colleagues from all the parts of the world. And of course, representation of major cultures, major legal systems. Committee's task is to monitor how state parties implement Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And we do it in a number of ways. The main way is the dialogue with the state party delegations after they submit their report on implementation. And then we give them concluding observations, recommendations on how better to implement the Convention. Also, for some of the articles of the Convention that are complex or controversial, or practice has shown that there needs more guidance, we adopt general comments, where we put forth reviews on how those articles, particular articles, should be implemented. And so far we have adopted 2 general comments. The first one was on Article 12, and I will refer to it in the second part of my presentation. Last but not least, some of the states who have ratified the Convention also ratified the optional protocol, which gives a chance for individuals to submit complaints to the committee about alleged violations of their rights. Article 12 is about equal recognition before the law, about legal capacity. Legal capacity, when we look at different legal systems, had different connotations. So, for example, in France, in continental Europe, in Great Britain, in Latin America, that would mean that persons have rights and duties, but also have the capacity to exercise them. In Arabic countries, in China, in Russia, legal capacity means that persons have the rights and duties, but not necessarily capacity to exercise them. The view of committee is very clear. Legal capacity means that all persons with all types of disabilities have the full capacity to exercise all of their rights and all of their duties. And therefore, all across the world in most of the countries, at the moment, our analysis of the report's implementation of the Convention show that, unfortunately, many persons with disabilities, especially persons with intellectual disabilities or psychosocial disabilities, are put under guardianship. So their legal capacity is restricted. And when there is full guardianship regime, one in theory says it's pretty much the civic death, because individual under guardianship cannot choose where he or she will live, with whom they will live. They cannot use their property. They cannot enter business contracts. They cannot marry. They cannot vote. Sometimes they are placed in institutions. Sometimes their guardian can give consent for forced experimentation or medical interventions, and all of those things are contrary to the Convention. Therefore, Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities has requested from the state parties to abolish the guardianship systems, to replace them with supported decision-making systems. There are many different ways in which will and preferences of individual can be supported. Some persons need very high level of support in exercising their will and preferences. And those are, of course, the most challenging and sometimes controversial issues because at the same time, one has to receive support in accordance with his or her wills and preferences, but he or she also has to be protected from the manipulation. And at the moment, there is still not enough good practice. There are some examples of good practice, and for example, one of the international organizations that has gathered such examples would be the Inclusion International and Inclusion Europe, as it's a European branch, and they give examples how persons with disabilities, especially intellectual disabilities, can be supported in their decision-making. It is mandatory under the Article 12 for the state parties to make sure that there are legal safeguards and that will and preferences of persons with disabilities are taken in account and fully respected, and that their rights are protected from violation. Persons with disabilities should have the full right to own their property and to dispose with it. So those were our main recommendations. Basically, the guardianship system should be abolished. All substitute decision-making systems should be replaced by supported decision-making, where the will and preferences of the person are taken in account, and sufficient legal safeguard is provided that that will and preference is really implemented in practice. The committee also has dealt with some of the issues linked with Article 12 in one of the individual communications. It was one of our fourth case we have considered. That was the communication by Mr. Bújdos and 5 other persons from Hungary who were put under guardianship, and thus they were denied the right to vote. And the committee concluded unanimously that this is violation of Article 29 of the Convention, which says that all persons with all types of disabilities who are old enough to have the civic rights to vote should also should have that right. So committee's message in that respect is quite clear. Guardianship systems should be changed with supported decision-making systems, and persons with disabilities must have the equal right to own their property, to enter businesses, to marry, to start up their families, to decide with whom and where, under which arrangements they live, and not to be forced to live in institutions, not to undergo forced medical treatment or be deprived of their liberty just because of their disability. Of course, if a person with disability breaks the law, he or she, just as we have the same rights, we have the same responsibilities as everybody else, but it should be done on the basis of criminal offense, not on actual or perceived disability. So basically, all the information you want to have about the work of committee, I recommend to you to go to the website of Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights, OHCHR, and there you go to all human rights treaty bodies. Then you find Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. and there you can find all the information you need about our work. I hope that my relatively brief presentation was informative to you. Of course, if you have any questions or comments or anything, please give them to the organizers, and they will either contact me via Skype or by email, and it would be my privilege to try to respond to your questions as best as possible. And I think my presentation closes now to an end, so I would like to just thank the organizers once again for this opportunity. I do hope that you were able to hear me well and that the translators were able to translate me properly. And I will finish in French with merci beaucoup and bonne journée. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Damien. You know that a member of the French Parliament as well as the rights defender are here with us, and they both heard your intervention, and I'm sure they will be inspired also by the general comment, and we will give you the results of our debate during the conference. Thank you again.
I'm looking very much forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.